All right. Supposedly, according to what I'm seeing here, it says that we are actually, so far everything appears to be working, but I'm going to check in with our Twitch service here for a second and see what the situation is because, whoops, dang, almost missed him. Got a fly around here. It's been bothering me for a little bit. We've got, again, for right now, fairly quiet conditions, but later on this week, this could be a bit of a problem. All right, audio sounds good on Twitch. We're going to let that fly for a moment and see what's going on the YouTube channel and make certain that that is broadcasting at this point because I'm not entirely sure what has been going on with the gremlins here. We've done our best to get everything taken care of. First it was audio, then the camera was having issues, then it was general connection problems, and then it just kept right on going. So the last couple of months have been a little strenuous when it comes to what's been going on here in regards to our technology, but I think for the new year and starting things off on the week after New Year's specifically, I think we're getting to the point of where we can get things going again with weather overtime. We especially wanted to get on here and start talking a little bit more about what we may be looking for as we go. If you notice again in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, kind of off the corner there, that's with Twitch and that's with YouTube down that direction. The 7-day forecast is where we see the potential of another winter storm shaping up for the southeastern part of the United States. Now, whether or not that happens, again, this is where winter weather forecasting really comes into play. And if you've never tried it before, I would highly recommend it, but we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. If you're joining us on YouTube or Twitch, welcome to the show. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek from Wdef-Tv News 12 in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, where we have, again, some very quiet conditions for this evening. We did have some spotty showers out there, but we may see more of that coming up later on this evening in a very light format. We don't have any problems with visibility at this time. Signal Mountain off in the distance. This is the News 12 Patriot concrete camera from down on 33rd and Broad Street. Looking back to the north, again, Signal Mountain lights off in the distance, and the downtown area buildings just seen off to the right-hand side of the screen. I-24 traffic in both directions is moving along pretty well. There were some spotty showers, very, very light in intensity. And let's go ahead and take a look at radar and see if we have anything going on at this time. We're ramped up into clear air mode, and there is just a trace amount of moisture into the Cumberland Plateau. Very, very light. Not seeing much of anything else at this time, but there could be the potential, especially in the higher elevations. Lookout Mountain, Signal Mountain, Cumberland Plateau area. The ice was beginning to accumulate earlier. It wasn't like inches thick. It was just a glaze, but that's all you need. So Signal Mountain, Lookout Mountain, Cumberland Plateau, I-24 between Murfreesboro and down toward around the area of the News 12 viewing area, Grundy and Marion counties there, up into the higher elevation areas. That is where we may see some problems early tomorrow morning because of the fact that we've got temperatures very much on the chilly side and will remain that way overnight. We are below freezing in much of the area and have been for a while. The warmest numbers in northwestern Georgia and northeastern parts of Alabama and some parts of southern and southeastern Tennessee. Lower 20s showing up over into and around the area of western North Carolina. Now, the really cold air, and I mean like bitterly cold temperatures, is expected to head our direction, dropping down out of the North Pole almost, and we're looking at some very cold numbers into the near future here. Back to the north of us, we are not going to see anything in the way of major problems with winter weather temperatures dropping really low, but north of the Ohio River, that is where we could see the potential of some bitterly cold numbers out there, and we'll take a closer look at that coming up in just a little bit. We do have a watch in effect, a advisory, I should say, a wind advisory in effect for northern parts of Georgia. That's in effect until 7 o'clock Eastern time Tuesday morning. So if you live between the Tennessee line and Atlanta, back over to around western North Carolina, not including Cherokee County in the News 12 viewing area in western North Carolina, you may see some problems out there with breezy conditions, especially into very early tomorrow morning. High-profile vehicles could be seeing some problems with travel, some choppy conditions out there, so please keep that in mind. We have no winter weather alerts of any sort shaping up. There was one in effect for around DeKalb and Jackson counties in Alabama, and that, again, is where we do not see anything right now, so that's good news. But once again, we could see more potential problems out across much of the region. Our next winter storm is going to be brewing down to our south and west across the Gulf. It's not on the maps just yet. Our latest winter storm, the one that pasted parts of the Midwest with 10 to 20 inches of snowfall, that again moving its way off into the western Atlantic, so there's really not much more for that particular situation going on, so good news on that. But the next few hours we will see again the temperatures rather on the chilly side out there. Now we have winds coming in from out of the northwest, high pressure doing a good job of keeping things very dry, quiet, and chilly for that matter. As we go into the next several hours, we'll continue again to see very dry conditions out there all the way on through the evening hours for right now, but it's going to be into the next several days where we're going to be watching down toward the Gulf of Mexico. And of course, wouldn't you know that our weather program has crashed? So not only do we have more gremlins in the system, I am now going to have to either shut this down or I'm going to have to keep going and blather on for a little bit until the graphics come back up again. Apologies, this type of stuff happens, etc., etc. It's live webcasting, live TV, the same thing goes on, so apologies for this. Let me see if I can get things working again here before we go too far. Let's go back to our big picture and see what's going on here, because, and if I go forward by just a little bit, this is a lot of data here, believe it or not. All those wind arrows take up a decent amount of memory space. So high pressure out over the plain states, giving them a frigid evening out this direction, 10 to 20 inches of snow around Kansas City and back toward my hometown of Topeka, Kansas. We've got high pressure lined up all the way from Hudson Bay down this direction. So this cold air that's heading our way is coming in right off the poles, and this is going to be some of the coldest weather we have seen in quite some time, at least north of us anyway. Now through tonight and into tomorrow morning, it is going to be pretty frigid. Louisville, you're going to be down to 3 degrees below zero, and we're not done yet. Tomorrow's morning temperatures in the 20s, that could be a problem for kids at the bus stop. Maybe 40 degrees tomorrow as we get back to sunshine. And then on Wednesday morning, also a very chilly day with even colder temperatures up around parts of Kentucky and into around Indiana. We'll see about the same thing, maybe a little cooler, just a little bit cooler on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, take a look at those low temperatures there, -9 up around Louisville. We'll be back in the lower 20s for early Thursday morning. And then Thursday afternoon, temperatures back in the high 30s to right about the lower 40s. That'll be with high pressure exiting, and this is going to play a big role in our weather situation over the next couple of days. What we are going to see is high pressure again. Air around high pressure rotates clockwise in the northern hemisphere. So as this goes to the east, as we scoop this forward a little farther in time, we'll start to see again a beautiful Thursday start to fill up with clouds, and then by Friday morning, that is where the next potential of winter weather comes on through. So starting off pre-dawn hours, hopefully we're not going to see too much outside of flurries, but as we get into rush hour to work or school on Friday morning, that is where we see the temperatures perfect for snow to make its way all the way down to the surface, including in the Tennessee River Valley. Higher elevations will be just about as cold, and then we have a possibility of snow, freezing rain, and sleet, and then plain rainfall down where the temperatures will be a little bit warmer, but not by much. As we go into the rest of the day, we see temperatures hover just below freezing until we get into around Friday afternoon, which is when we may see a snow, freezing rain, sleet, rain mixture of some sort. And then we go toward Friday afternoon and evening. There could be some significant amounts of freezing rain taking place here. And this is what we really need to be concerned with. Now, keep in mind, this far out, what we're going to get as a final statement forecast. Right now, that's not helping anybody to do that. Several other stations might. I know a lot of websites do a lot of wish casting to be able to say that 300 hours out, this particular forecast, a Category 6 blizzard. There are some famous storm chasing, weather predicting people out there that scream very loudly about very large blizzards a week and a half away, but then fail to print anything in the way of an oopsie, we messed up on that one, conveniently enough. So for right now, we could see a lot of different things. The path of this storm system as it goes on through, if it goes farther to the north, we'll be in the warmer air, and that means just plain rainfall. If it's farther to the south, we may see a lot more of snow and less in the way of freezing precipitation or liquid precipitation. If we get enough moisture coming on through here, we could be looking at a lot more precipitation coming up, as in what they got back into around Kansas, Missouri, and I-70. It's possible. Any of those scenarios are possible right now, and it's difficult to say anything about what we may be winding up with for now. We will be watching this very carefully, and the important thing is, so should you if you live anywhere between, say, Little Rock and the East Coast, the Gulf Coast, all the way up to the Ohio River Valley. We could be looking at a lot of problems here Thursday into Friday, Thursday night into Friday morning, and just beyond. And again, we not really seeing too much anything left over by early Saturday morning. There could be some wrap around moisture and some colder temperatures making its way on through. With those temperatures borderline freezing, that is where we could see the potential of anything in the way of freezing rain or sleet or snow, or a combination of any of those three, sticking to the roadways. Keep in mind, again, over the next several days, we're going to be going back to Wednesday, high 30s, going to Thursday afternoon, high 30s, lower 40s. It's going to be very cold for a long stretch of time preceding this storm system coming on through. And this one, again, with the colder temperatures keeping the ground surface temperatures colder, it's possible that more of this may stick, and that could cause travel problems Friday night into very early on Saturday morning. So that's going to be the primary concern of what we're seeing for right now. Now, giving you just a generic overall idea, let me go to this right here, which is going to show all of these different types of modes. The very sharp blue and purple colors on the bottom of the graphic, that's going to be snowfall, where you can see here where the snow came down earlier, but by Wednesday that's leftover snowfall that's still hanging around. Above that, purple, dark purple, light to dark purple is going to be freezing rain potential, and on top of that, the orange colors is going to be sleet. So I'm going to run this forward a little bit as we go into around Thursday afternoon, where all that snowfall starts to approach the Mid-South area and back toward Little Rock and the Arklatex area. That's the snowfall you see there, and you see some of that blocky orange color. That is where we start seeing the possibility of sleet mixing in with there. There's going to be a fine dividing line, it looks like, between what gets snow, what gets sleet, and what gets freezing rain on through here. Now, through early, again, Friday morning, that is where we see the temperatures enough to pick up some possible decent snowfall around here. Again, this is very preliminary. So for right now, going this far out on a system about a week in advance, this is something we really need to pay attention to. Right into around the Red River Valley, southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, northeast Texas, and the corner of Oklahoma, that is where we could see, again, some freezing rain shaping up. That looks to be much better there. But then also, it doesn't take much to brew a lot of snowfall. If this does take place, the major amount of snowfall should be back to our south and west at this time. And then the whole thing makes its way to the east and continues that direction, so that by every time everything is over with by Saturday, this does have some merit to it, I think, considering the warm, moist air coming in from off the Gulf, considering the fairly powerful system developing in the Gulf and moving to the northeast. But keep in mind, again, if this system shunts north, we may not get too much of anything whatsoever, and hopefully the chances of freezing rain start to make their way up and away from us and anybody else and stays over mostly rural territory, but there could be the potential of that happening as well. Now, alternatively, a couple of the computer models are dropping this, not many, about say 2 out of 12 are pushing this just a bit further to the south, which means we could wind up with even more snowfall that we have not seen around here for quite some time. So this is a potential problem over the next several days. And again, this is Thursday night into Friday, and then everything leaving the area Friday night into Saturday. But we could see some substantial amounts of precipitation depending on what goes on here. So this definitely bears watching. This is not trying to panic anybody. This is just the information that we see on the models and how we can put it out there to you to say possibilities here, something to pay attention to. Anybody who wants to say I'm hyping the weather, you have a First Amendment right to say that, but I would be prepared to back that up with proof. This is not hyping weather. I've been accused of that before back in Memphis by a very nefarious series of ads caricaturing me from back in the Mid-South area. It's not fun to be portrayed that way. This is not trying to scare any. The weather's bad enough as it is. Why anybody would want to make anything worse out of it to scare people into watching? That is just absolutely, completely beyond stupid to me. So again, presenting you with the information we have so that you can be prepared ahead of time. That's what I do. That's what we do here at News 12. Anybody who wants to say this is hype, that's up to you, but that's your opinion. That is not fact. So again, this is what we're looking at for right now. Very preliminary, all of this. This is going to change by tomorrow, and it's going to change again into Wednesday. So the closer we get, the better off we're going to be able to give you an idea as to what is going to be coming this direction. And that is what we are here to do, to let you know about everything that is heading this direction. Did my microphone quit on me? Excuse me a second here. See, that's okay. We're good. All right. Didn't see the input on there, unfortunately. All right. So for right now, that's the way it looks for the time being. Let's go ahead and give you an idea as to what's going on in regards to the actual forecast for tonight. Again, looking through downtown, decently quiet. I don't see a problem with the rest of the evening. The clouds will be sticking around. We do have some moisture out there. Old Glory trying to keep up at this time with a very huge amount of breeze going on, seeing some very windy conditions for tonight. Here's what it looks like into the course of the next couple of days. Temperatures will be descending, mid-30s, a few lower 30s possible as we go into Friday, and that'll be the warmest it gets. So the best potential of anything arriving. Sunshine, cold, dry until then, and then the storm arrives as we get into the Thursday-Friday period, lingers with precipitation through the day on Friday, temperatures back in the lower to mid-30s, and then clearing out on Saturday. Temperatures barely above freezing, but then dropping back below freezing by early Sunday morning, which means anything that melts as we go through Saturday, if we get enough melting going on, is going to freeze in place as we get into Sunday early on. So that, again, could be a potential problem for anything around the area. Could be some very slick conditions out there, again, depending on what happens one way or the other. So definitely want to keep it tuned to News 12. This is where you really need to pay attention to the forecast. If you're traveling, if you know somebody else is traveling, if you have events coming up, either outdoors or indoors or anything that involves going from point A to point B, the forecast is not going to be the same. If you tune in tonight, great. If you don't tune back in again until Thursday evening, this is going to be changing a lot, one way or the other. And it's important to stay up to date on those changes. That's how being weather aware works, to know what's coming your direction, to make certain that you're paying attention to everything that is going on there. We'll help you do that, so keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll let you know a little bit more about what may be coming our direction. But again, I would urge everybody to stay alert and awake to make certain everything's going on here. Here's something else to take a look at again for tomorrow morning. First time we have used this graphic since the close of the fall semester. It is now the spring semester 2025. It's going to be pretty doggone cold tomorrow at the bus stop, walking or bike riding to school for the kids. So please be prepared for that. And numbers through the rest of the day only going back into around the lower 40s. Mid to upper 30s will be widespread. 40s will be there, but they will be rare, and there will still be a wind chill into tomorrow. So the winds will continue through the day. Not enough for a wind advisory past the morning hours, but they will be occasionally breezy from time to time. So again, that could be a bit of a situation shaping up for the morning hours. So please keep that in mind. Also, please keep in mind that what we're looking at tomorrow, we've already got a couple of school districts that are calling school tomorrow because of the roadway conditions and quite possibly because of the temperatures. If you want to keep up to date on what's going on with that, please drop by our website at wdef.com/weather to find out more about various closings and delays. That'll help you, again, stay on top of things. And, of course, Chip Chapman will have a forecast update tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, starting at 5 a.m., so please stay tuned for that. Okay, I think we've covered all the bases here. We've been on for better part of 20 minutes. I wasn't expecting to be on the air for that long. Dog walking forecast tomorrow, looking again at some pretty frigid numbers early on if you have to get up and get going earlier on for the day. Thank you much to Janice, News 12 viewer from Rossville, Tennessee, for a review of Jelly Bean the Pupper playing the cardboard trumpet. If you would like to be our sponsor for the dog walking forecast, please contact our sales department. Website at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Again, that's at wdef.com/advertise if you'd like to be a sponsor. Thanks to all of our sponsors, especially EPB, for being our main sponsor for the fiber optics weather cam network and a lot of other things here. And thanks to everybody else for chipping in as well. Langley Roofing, one of those spots and businesses. Thank you very much for sponsoring our weather window page of the day. This is a what is called a circumzenithal arc. It only happens above the sun, but only when the sun is about 32 degrees or less degrees of elevation above the horizon. So this right here is a very rare capture. If you'd like to know more about this, head to our website and take a look and see what everybody like Miss Iris has been sending in. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. And if you've got pictures out there, again, please let us know. Drop them to us by email. Go to our social media pages or go to the main section of Weather Window headquarters at wdef.com/photos for more information. We'd love to see what you're seeing. We'd love to pass along what you're seeing through the weather window picture of the day, but we can't do that unless you send things in. So not seeing much of a problem, again, out there when it comes to anything involving for the next week or so, but we could definitely use a little bit more in the way of weather snapshots. So please send them in to us if you could. Quick picture. My mom still lives in Topeka, Kansas, and this is a view not too far away from her house. This is I-70, just past Gage Boulevard. The Kansas River running right through there. This is a KDOT camera from that area and back down toward the Highway Patrol headquarters. 10 to 18 inches of snow in parts of northeastern Kansas. Most of that's been plowed. There is still plow and salt trucks out there tonight. As you can see, a very good sheen of ice on the roadway, so not great travel back up around I-70 between Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, picking up some huge amounts of snow out there. Absolutely incredible to see everything that made its way through the area there, and continuing the winter storm making its way off the coastal areas for tonight. But for right now, most of what we're seeing is pretty much done with this particular storm system. This is the view from earlier tonight at the Country Club Plaza in Kansas City on our sister CBS station, KCTV5. Kind of hard to see here, but some big drifts on the apartment building and the hotel roofs down into and around the area, also in the parking garage and around the streets. If you've never been here before, this is a great place to be for shopping in Kansas City, and also a very good place to be when the Thanksgiving night lights of the entire plaza turn on. So this is showing some very cold conditions up there, and more potential of what we could see with our next winter storm here. Doesn't look like a guarantee for right now, but we will be watching that into the next several days. Tennessee Aquarium, the penguins have folded up for the night for the most part, just kind of laying around for right now. Normal temperature in here, and thanks to Tom Benson, communications guy for the Tennessee Aquarium, for pointing this out to me, but the temperature inside Penguin Rock is 42 degrees constant. Very cold, not frigid cold, but enough for these guys to be comfortable. That is going to seem like a summer heat wave in a couple of days for us, as we see the potential for some more of that out there. The Chattanooga weather webcam looking back toward the aquarium buildings across the parking lot on Aquarium Way in the north part of downtown in Chattanooga, Tennessee for tonight. Not too many people out and about, but it is pretty sharp out there, so not surprised to see hardly any traffic taking place at this time. But we will be looking for more potential problems again coming up into the next several days. All right, I think that should do it. Let me just do one quick, if I have it here, severe weather update. Here's something interesting you might want to think about trying. It's called M-Ping, the Meteorological Phenomenon Identification Near the Ground app. It is completely and totally free. It gives you an opportunity to find out more about what is going on in the atmosphere. You get to use this app and help meteorologists find out more about what is going on by your reports. It's basically ground truth. You can see it on radar, but seeing what's under the radar as it's happening, that's one of the best things you can do. This is a good citizen science type situation. You don't need a PhD to contribute to certain portions of research when it comes to weather, understanding science, and our planet. And again, the M-Ping app is completely and totally free. So if you'd like to download this, and especially with more winter weather coming in, it's a great opportunity to learn more about what's going on with the weather. This is courtesy of the NOAA's National Severe Storms Laboratory. And again, it's a very good indication of what NOAA does. If you'd like to find out more, you can go to our website, wdef.com/weather. You can also search National Severe Storms Laboratory, mping.nwl.noaa.gov if you'd like to find out more, or just search M-Ping app, and you can participate in weather research just by watching what the weather does. It's a very cool opportunity, again, to learn more about what is actually happening. Now, there is one more thing I would like to add in the next about a little bit less than a month from now. If you live in Chattanooga and Hamilton County, this is meant for you. If you can't make the other meetings outside of Hamilton County, that's great, but please register. There's only 100 spots open for this meeting, and you have to register just to be polite at anything else. This will be held, again, Skywarn is a volunteer storm spotters organization. You don't get paid for watching the weather, but your information could help save a life somewhere down the line. So National Weather Service trains members of the public, citizens like you and me, anybody who doesn't have a PhD, anybody who doesn't have any weather experience whatsoever, but would like to help out. I've seen Skywarn spotters as young as 7 or 8 years old. This is a good opportunity to learn more, and the meeting is coming up at Old Harrison Elementary School. There was an old meeting time and date and location that has now been updated here. that'll be held in Chattanooga. If you'd like to register, please go to the National Weather Service website at weather.gov/MRX. It'd be a great opportunity, again, to help out. Thanks to the Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club for providing the refreshments during the halftime break. And again, lasts about an hour, hour and a half, depending on how many questions are asked and answered. So if you'd like to become a Skywarn volunteer, please consider doing so. The more Skywarn spotters we have, the better off we all are, because you can see and hear and think and know about what's going on. Call that information back to the National Weather Service on this. Relay it to the 911 operators, or if you're an amateur radio operator, then you can call it in via their WeatherNet or through anybody keeping track of stuff like that, and you can help save lives. So this is a good opportunity, again, to learn more about what is happening with severe weather and how you can help out your community when it really matters, when severe weather moves on through. All right, I think that's it. We've gone about 30 minutes or so, managed to stretch this out by just a little bit longer. If you'd like to know more about what's going on with weather overtime, please stop by our website and find out more about what is happening. Again, we'll have updates on what's going on with YouTube and on Twitch. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not updating it anymore. Hopefully going to get the station to follow suit on that sometime this year. But if you'd like to find me on any of these websites minus Twitter, and I'm now on Blue Sky, so find me on there, and you can update yourself and follow along, and we'll keep you updated as to what is happening. That should do it for tonight. It's Monday evening, the 6th of January, 2025. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick with the first, hopefully not the last, weather overtime of 2025. Again, gremlins, they happen from time to time. Stay tuned for more with News 12 at 11 tonight, and with Chip Chapman in the morning. And, of course, I'll have more, hopefully, on weather overtime coming up on Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe and keep it updated to News 12 so you can stay weather aware with the approach of this next storm system. We'll see you tomorrow.